Good morning. Happy Thursday to you. Welcome into My Sweet Home Living. My name is Tracey Campbell. Excited that you are here today or whenever you're watching. I love having you here. Come in and join me for some fun primitive Christmas style crafting. If you love primitive or rustic style decorating and crafting, you're in the right place. And even if you don't, you can take many of my ideas and make your own style and spin on them and make them your own. So come on in. I'm so excited to see who's going to be here today. I am running a tad bit behind. I just had everything in the world just crashing down on me in a minute. My lights were falling down. My table, stuff was falling off my table. It was like, oh, a disaster. Good morning, Miss Estelle. Hey, Melanie, how are you all? Come on in. And is it chilly where you are? Boy, oh boy, it's cool this morning. In fact, I'm not gonna lie, I still have my comfy pajama pants on this morning because they're warm. They're warm. And so I do have the window cracked though because I was getting hot, a little too warm for a minute, but I said, oh, my body temperature changes about every 5 seconds, so crack the window and I can shut it again, and you'll hear Tom crowing out there. He heard me talking. As soon as I start talking, he starts crowing. Good morning, Joey. Yes, I can definitely switch my camera around for you, although we're not going to have too many words today on the project that we're doing. Let's see here. There we go. And I think we're going to have to shut the window or else he's going to sit there and crow the whole morning long. He just likes to be heard, little stinker. Good morning, Miss Joy. How are you? Chilly in Pennsylvania this morning? Oh, I bet it is. We were, well, yesterday and today we've been just hovering right above 32 in the morning. So we did have a little bit of frost yesterday morning. I'm sure we did this morning too. So it hasn't struck my flowers yet, but I have a feeling it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I'm not ready to let my flowers go. How about y'all? Good morning, Miss Susie Ray. How are you, friend? Okay, let's get this shared over into the Craft on the Clock group. I did not tell you all ahead of time that I was going live today, and it was kind of like a last minute thing, sort of. I didn't know if I was going to be able to keep this time today, so I didn't want to get y'all all worked up and make plans if I wasn't going to be able to make it happen. So thank goodness everything's worked out in my favor today. Let's get us shared over to the Craft on the Clock group. We're just being kooky and crazy while y'all are coming on in. Yes, Miss Pat. Miss Pat was live before me. This is a special 45-minute segment over in my home away from My Sweet Home Living, which would be Craft on the Clock. You all, if you love watching live crafting shows or even like the replays of live videos, that is the place to be. You will have live creators every 45 minutes throughout the day. We usually begin pretty early in the morning. Most mornings it's around 6:45 in the morning, Central Time. And a lot of times we go all the way up until like 11 o'clock at night, even sometimes even past that. So if you ever find yourself where you can't sleep or you have a moment where you just kind of want to tune out and just have some relaxation or inspiration, crafting ideas, you know where to check us out. You know where to check us out. Had a freeze warning. We did too, Carrie, but I don't think we had a freeze. I don't think we got quite cold enough, but it was as close as can get. Good morning. Well, y'all wondering what we're going to do today, right? Well, I kind of struggled. And I thought, I don't know what to do. I haven't actually pulled out my Christmas greenery yet. And a lot of my Christmas crafts, you kind of got to have a little bit of Christmas greenery. So I haven't pulled anything out like that yet. Good morning, Miss Denise. Oh, I know. You had a hard frost. Oh, my goodness. Hey, Miss Mint from the Pink Llama. We're using these today. Y'all know what these are? I've got several of them. I've been saving them. And if you don't know what they are, this will give you a good guess. They are aluminum foil tubes. And these things are like pretty hefty. They're pretty hefty because they, excuse me, they are thicker than your paper towel rolls or toilet paper rolls. They're a little bit stronger and more durable. And these, I love using these to make my little electric candles. Let's see, which direction? Oh. That little jar light that you see right there at the end of my tube right there, I created that little lamp. It's a jar with a little candle light on top of it. And I like to use these tubes for things like that because they're so durable. Good morning, Miss Stephanie. Hey, Miss Deborah, Darlia. All my friends are in the house today. Good morning, Miss Jennifer. Big hugs to you. All my Florida friends. I'm so thankful that you all weathered the storm safe and sound. Miss Jennifer is one of those. I know y'all were worried. I was worried, and I don't even live there. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Everything turned out okay. Okay. We are going to make some primitive style candy cane sticks, or peppermint sticks. Maybe that's what I should call them. They're not going to be canes. They're going to be sticks. So, yes, you're right. I just noticed that this one is a little bit shorter, which will probably be okay. I mean, I'm not going to have to worry about painting them or whatnot, and don't even have to worry about cleaning off the little adhesive sticky stuff. We're going to use some Warm and Natural. We're going to use some ticking. I have some Rusty Bells. I forgot to grab them out, but they're right over here in a drawer right beside of me. But I think these are going to be really easy to make, and I hope I don't eat my words. But I think they're going to be easy to make. I have not made these. I've seen some adorable primitive style candy canes, or peppermint sticks. Some ladies have been sharing some photos over in my All Things Primitive group. And they just have the ball going on on those. And I thought, I need to try some of those. So here we are. Here we are. And I don't think it's going to take a whole lot of pre-planning. I mean, really. We're just going to cover these with some Warm and Natural first, okay? And then wrap them with the ticking. And then we're going to grunge them up to make them look perfectly prim. For your Christmas decorating. Good morning, Miss Brenda. You love, you know, I don't use it a lot, but when I do, I love it. It's just, I don't know, it's homey, and it does take grunge really well. Where are my scissors? Over here, which I'm probably going to knock something else off. That's been my middle name today, is Disaster Wreck-It Ralph today. Everything I have touched today has just been cuckoo. Goes off the table, off anything. Knock anything over, knock it over, knock 20 other things over, and, you know, Tracey knock it over Campbell today. You made some last year. Oh, I bet they were pretty. Okay. I'm going to cut several pieces of this at a time. I've got this double folded here. Can you all see the end of my fabric? And I'm just going to lay this down for size. I do want to go about 1 inch inside from the edge, and I'm going to cut about 1 inch over on this end. And that will give me enough space to kind of cover the ends, okay? So I'm just going to kind of give this like a test roll to see how wide I need it, and then I'll make some cuts. I'm going to go larger than I really need because you know how scary it is. Especially if you can't cut in a straight line like me. I might need extra, and I can't put extra on, but I can always cut extra off. I hate those kind of days, Susie Lee. Oh, goodness. I'm telling you, it's been a morning of everything like that today. Let's see here. I didn't make my mark here. Let's make a little mark. I need to get me a designated pair of fabric scissors. So if you have a favorite pair of fabric scissors, I need you to give me the details on what they are, where to get them, because I'm going to need some. All right. You know what I should do? How many of you are still in your pajamas? I hope you are. Especially if it's cold like it is here. I'm still in my pajama pants because they're warm and they're comfy. And that's the name of the game today. It's warm and comfy mornings with coffee and crafting. They do not match my shirt, but hey, I don't care. We're Christmas up here. Good morning, Darlia. How are you? I hope your husband Ken is doing better. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, I do have the hot glue turned on, and I think that's what we're going to use to cover these little rolls. Okay, I did oversize it, so that's good. All I'm going to do, I'm going to put, I do need another stick of glue here. It is officially soup weather and comfy weather and hoodie weather and all the things. Let's see, oh, okay. I don't know why it's not going. There we go. I'm going to have to do a section at a time. My glue gun is not cooperating. Surprise, surprise. I do want to kind of stick that on and smooth it out because I don't want in those hard, lumpy bumpies of that hot glue. You all know how hot glue is. When it dries underneath of something, it can kind of give you a bumpy, dried feeling under there. So I want to smooth it out while it's warm. That way we won't see any of those little bumps. And I don't think we would even if they were there because we're going to cover this with quite a bit of stuff today. And like I said, I have not made these. I have just seen some adorable photos shared of these. And I thought, I have got to make some. I've got to. And these little aluminum foil tubes are perfect for doing that. Now, you know, we're going to have to grunge these up. We're not going to leave them just plain. No. No, ma'am. Okay, let's see. I've got a little bit of glue here. I tell you what we'll do. We'll work on this one from start to finish. I don't want to get like heavy into like making all 5 of them and then not be able to show you the complete process from beginning to end. So we will work on this one from beginning to end, and if we have time we'll start the others, but I want us to definitely be able to make sure that we are finishing it, and so that you kind of can see how it goes so you can create your own, because we are on a little bit of a time limit today, so I want to be sure to not leave you guessing on how to finish them. Okay, so I've got the excess. I'm going to cut this extra off. Easier said than done. There we go. And we are going to be able to cover these up. So if you have any boo-boos, it's not terrible. And this Warm and Natural is kind of forgiving in the sense that you can kind of stretch it. Stretch it to cover up. If you have a little spot where maybe you cut it too close and you need to cover it up, you know. Okay, so all I'm going to do with the ends is we're going to stick these in. And if you want to, you could put a little bit of glue to hold that in. I'm not going to worry about that too much. And then when we're finished, we will take a little circle piece and glue that on top. But we're going to need these openings because that's where we're going to start and stop our fabric on each peppermint stick. You've got sweatpants and a hoodie on. That's it. That's the name of the game right now. Pajama pants and long sleeve shirt, which for me is saying something because I'm usually always like burning up. Good morning. Okay, now I have some just classic red and white ticking. Now it's not white, it's more of like a cream. I'm going to, let me think about this. How thick do I want these strips to be? I want let's just try one and let's see. I'm going to cut it so that I have 3 lines of the red. Maybe. It might not want to cooperate with me this morning. Imagine that. Oh, there we go. We'll show that a thing or two. Okay, let's pull off some of these little threads because I'm okay with threads, but we had a little bit extra here. Okay, now let's see here. We're going to start at the top. And these are going to be, those are going to be cute. Okay, I'm going to wrap it at an angle. My strip is probably not long enough. This was just a piece of scrap fabric that I had, which you do the same. Use some scraps. Because I'm thinking I'm going to stick these down in a jar. So really, even if I don't go all the way to the bottom, I'm not heartbroken. But that's maybe what we have right there. Now it doesn't look prim yet. We're going to prim it. We're going to prim it. Let's go ahead and cut a little bit more because we're going to use it. And, dilemma. So when I cut that, it made my stripes not all the same. Here we go. We're going to grunge it up. Of course we are. Of course we are, right? Now, how in the world did I do that? Actually, that worked out in my favor. I want the same amount of stripes and the same width of my piece since I'm matching it up here. Okay. I'm going to put a little dab of hot glue and make sure I have my spacing right. Are you all kind of like me when anytime I wrap something like this, I'm really funny about making sure I have the same amount of white space in between a ribbon or whatever I'm using. It's one of the reasons why I could never wrap the columns on the home that we just moved from. We had columns on our front porch. I could never bring myself to wrap them with a garland because it would never stay where I wanted it. It would never look proportioned. Like, it's just me. It's just me. I can do it. Okay. There we go. But this, we can secure it and it'll stay. Boy, that's hot. Okay. That's gonna be cute. Now I'm gonna cut this off to have a little bit of extra. And I am gonna put a little speck of glue down here at the bottom just so that it stays wrapped kind of the way I want it to and it doesn't slide around. And once that is secure, we'll stick the end right in there. I probably need to do the same. Got hot glue on me at the top. Even though it's staying put pretty good. Over time though, we want to make sure that it stays. And I'm sure you could use like a fabric glue. And I do have hot glue fabric glue sticks, but I think this will work just fine. We don't need but just a speck. Okay, now comes the fun part. We get to grunge this up and see how prim we can make it. Good morning from Maine, Miss Betty. Good morning, Miss Stephanie, Paula. So happy to have y'all here. Okay, like I said, I'm going to make a whole little bundle of these little peppermint sticks. However, I'm only going to show you one probably from start to finish because creating like 5 or 6 of these would be super time consuming. Excuse me. And I want you to be able to see the process from beginning to end. Do you all hear my chicken? I shut the window and he's still. I'm telling you, I'm convinced, and I'm going to shake my grunge up. I've got coffee grunge. If you all needed these recipes, I've posted them everywhere this week so that you all could have them. You can save the picture that I put the recipe on and save it on, save it on your phone. That lid must not be on exactly all the way, but you can save those and use them whenever you need to. Share it with a friend, whatever. You can print it out, keep it in your craft room. But I'm convinced that chickens have a pretty good sense of hearing. I'm telling you, he can hear the moment I step foot out of my door. It's crazy. He can hear my shoes walking. He can hear me in the front yard. He can hear. I'm telling you, I'm convinced. And he can probably still hear me in here talking because I'm kind of like right here by the back window. It's really crazy. It's really crazy. All right, we are going to grunge these up, and then we're going to kind of squeeze them dry. Oh my goodness. Oh, you're going on a trip, Becca, to San Diego. That sounds fun. All right, I'm just going to brush on the grunge. I don't know how much we're going to go with here. It's kind of scary, I'm not going to lie. But we are in this together, right? Y'all are hanging with me. And if I spread it out, it's going to lighten the color. I do want these to look grungy. It's just always scary going from bright white to grunge. You're like, oh, what am I doing? And anyone else who doesn't appreciate this style of decorating or crafting would be thinking we're totally lost. We've totally lost our mind. That's what they would be thinking. Can't say they might not be right, but I love primitive style decorating. Good morning, Miss Jenny. How are you? Oh, I'm so excited to see y'all in the house. We had 326 in the house today. Oh, listen, are y'all decorating? Are y'all decorating? Are you crafting? Are you just watching? I hope that you see some projects that you just love and you just gotta make. Tomorrow in the Craft on the Clock group, it's all day candle themed. All day candle crafts, DIYs, decorating ideas with candles. I'm sure you will see some things that you never thought you could do with candles. I hope you do. And I have found some really pretty battery operated flicker flame pillar candles. You all know I'm funny about my candles, right? Now, of course, these are battery operated that I'm talking about, but they look so real. And I've had them for over a month because I wanted to test the battery life on them and to see how well they hold up. And I'm in love with them, and I can't wait to show you what they look like. Right now, I am not scheduled on this. I'm not on the schedule for tomorrow. But if there's a cancellation, I might hop in. I don't know yet. But if not, I'm going to post a video for you on them because they are absolutely amazing. They are from Amazon. They come in a set of 2, and I just can't wait to show you that they look so real. They look so real. And I'm going to show you some decorating ideas with those candles. There we go. Now you're going to think, that looks like a giant piece of poo. No. We're going to squeeze it out. We're going to squeeze the extra grunge out. That's what kids would say. They're like, Mom, that looks so ugly. That looks gross. That looks disgusting. That's what they say about my grungy stuff. Not everything, but there have been a few pieces. They're like, I don't get you. Bread loaves. Yes, Michelle. Put a piece of cardboard in the bottom. And you know what else you can do is you can also, after they completely cure, because I have some here on my table, bread loaves. These are some that I'm working on for some of my buyers. you can take them out of those aluminum foil pans. You got to be kind of gentle and kind of work them, wiggle them, and they'll eventually come out. But if they do bulge, you can take like an X-Acto knife or a bread knife and shave off the bottom and make them flat. You know, if the first time you've done it, it happens, it is fixable. They're not completely a loss. Okay. Okay. That's grunged up. Now you see, we took that giant log and we primed it up, and then we're going to dry it. And you know what I think I'm going to do today? I think I'm going to pull out some sparkle. Some sparkle. What do I use for the color for the tops? Oh, I use, actually, it's a stain. Let me see if I can grab it. I thought I had it right here on my table. I think I moved. Well, I don't know where I'll put it. Oh, it's on the table behind me. I can't reach it. It's Minwax. It's a wood stain. Let's see if I can see. It's called Early American. That's the color. And I brush. Well, of course, you first have to sand the top of the bread loaves. Once you get your hold on. My plug is coming loose. Okay. Whew. Once you use the spray foam in that and it cures, you have to sand it down to get the waterproofing finish off of it, because that foam is waterproof, and so it won't take the stain unless you sand it, which it's a job. You have to sand it and sand it and sand it again, get in the little tiny little crevices of it, but sand it down, and then you can rub that stain on. And then wherever the spots that doesn't take the stain, go back over it with the piece of sandpaper when you already have the stain on it, and it will kind of rub the stain into it and kind of give you a little bit of texture. I'm not finished with these, by the way, so they won't look like that completely, but I've got to put a little bit of a finish on them. But you can see those little grooves right there where it did not take the stain. I will take a piece of sandpaper and fold it in half and inch it down in those little grooves and sand it, and then it will help it take the stain a little bit better. And then I'll put them back in the pans and then dress them up. Yes, Early American, that's the color. It's Minwax brand. I just get a little bitty, it doesn't take a whole lot of stain, a little bitty bit of it to rub on there. Alright, this is not completely dry, but I think we'll be okay. Alright, we are going to use, let me grab my diamond dust. Okay, now, don't laugh at my pajama bottoms. Diamond dust, where are you? I have not used diamond dust in so long, but here it is. Found it. Okay. Now, let's see here. We're experimenting here because I told you I have not made these before, right? I want a real thin brush. I like to use a really thin, it's wide, but it's thin, to put, you can use like Mod Podge or whatever. I'm using my coffee podge, okay? Actually, I still have a brush in here I forgot about. I'm going to stir this up a little bit. And let's see here. I should have like a tray or something underneath of my candy cane here, but I do not. Oh my goodness, we're crafting an OM this morning. Okay. And I'm going to take this. Let's get this ready. The world of primitive and diamond dust are colliding today. I'm going to start on this end. And we're going to do just a little bit of this first. And that way, if I don't like it, this end, I can stick it down in a jar and it won't show. Now, my coffee podge is pretty dark, okay? Meaning I have quite a bit of instant coffee mixed in with it. So it's going to darken this even more. But I think I'm okay with that. We'll see. You just never know what it's going to look like until you try. So that's what we're going with. Now I'm going to sprinkle this on. I'm not going to go super heavy because I still kind of want it to have that primitive look. I don't want it to look super blingy. And I'm going to use a paper towel to press this down in to the coffee podge. Diamond dust will not hurt you typically if you're just barely lightly touching it, but they are tiny shards of glass. So if you press and apply pressure while you're pressing, it can irritate your skin. Okay. It's ever so subtle. I think it's going to be good. So I'm going to go with it. Now, I wish my coffee podge was a little bit lighter. I'm not going to lie. That's okay. These are going to be really grungy in the sense that they're going to be a little bit darker than probably what I would really want. But I don't have any extra glue to lighten my solution up, so we're just going with it, okay? But do a test. This is probably a good thing that I'm doing a test one. And some of them can be lighter than others. They don't have to all be the same, so I'm okay with this. All right. And I just want an ever so slight shimmer on this. Like I said, I don't want it totally blingy. Okay. And I'm going in sections. That way I can put that diamond dust right on there when it's super soupy. Super sticky, if you will. Okay. Oh yes, this is going to be so pretty. Now you could tie these in a bundle, attach some rusty bells. You could stick them in a jar. You could stick them, oh, you know what would really be pretty? Is if you have like an old stoneware crock. Oh, these would be gorgeous. And of course you could make these smaller or larger scale, depending on where you want to put them. I mean, you don't have to use the same aluminum foil rolls that I use. You could use longer dowel rods even. Another thought is, you know, the cheap plungers that you get at the Dollar Tree, you could get those, the sticks for those, and just use the stick. Of course, take the plunger end off, which it comes off super easy, and use those, and they're only like $1.25 a piece. And you could have a real pretty set of these for really cheap. Okay. I will probably finish these off with a cheesecloth tie, some rusty bells, and probably some sprigs of Sweet Annie. I'm thinking that's what I'm probably going to do with mine. But I think start to finish, that's kind of what we're going with here. Now let's give it a little bit of dry. And don't forget, you will need to cover your ends of your tube. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a circle of that sweet, or that the Warm and Natural, and make a circle at the top and just kind of fill it in. I'll show you in a second. I want to give this a little bit of dry. I saturated it pretty good. It will dry a little bit lighter than it is. That's just the nature of the coffee grunge and the instant coffee that's in there. It will dry. I'm going to kind of squeeze it a little bit and see if it lightens it up at all without taking off too much of my diamond dust. I kind of like it. I think it is taking a little bit off, but not much. But it's also pressing it into that glue so it will stick and stay a little bit better. And if it takes some of it off, I'm okay. Because like I said, I don't want it super sparkly. Just enough. And you can see a little bit on there. You don't have to do the sparkle. You can totally leave it without the sparkle. Okay, now let me get some of this sparkle out of the way. I'll have to I'm putting my heat on my table. I'm like, that's not gonna help. Okay, what was I gonna do? Oh, a circle of the Warm and Natural. Let's see, do I have, that's not really big enough. Let's cut a little piece here. I've got a little scrap area right here that I can cut from. That'll work. Okay, so I'm gonna make a whole set of these. Oof, I got diamond dust on my fingers there. Let me get that off. I just stuck that under my fingernail, I think. There we go. I'm just gonna kind of cut a circle shape. I will have to grunge this little piece too, though. Let's just put a little grunge on it real quick. Ah, dropping grunge everywhere. Just gonna give it a squeeze. Just dipped it in my coffee grunge, and it will need to be a little bit darker to match. Ideally, I guess it would be best to do this at the same time so the color tones kind of match, but we're still using the same solution, so it's not going to be too different. All right, so there's my little circle, and all I'm going to do here is I'm just going to take it, probably would be a little bit dry, put a little bit of glue, hot glue in there, and just stick it in there around the edges, and that kind of finishes off the top. It looks a little wonky right now. It needs to dry. Once it dries, I can manipulate the fabric a little bit better. So let's let it dry, and it'll crispen up, and then I can I want it to kind of be like a little rounded edge at the top. See if I can do it again. It's too floppy when it's wet for me to do exactly what I want it to do. There you go. That's sort of something like that. Another idea would be, which I already threw that piece of foil, would be to put a round ball of foil right there. Make a round ball of foil that will fit kind of right here. Cover that ball of round foil with this piece of material, and that will give me that rounded end shape that I want on there. That's what we'll do. That's what we'll do. Yes, it's Warm and Natural batting material, like quilt batting. It comes, I just grabbed mine at Hobby Lobby. You can get it anywhere. Let me show you the bag. It comes in a bag like that. It's usually where like the fabric, like the quilting fabric is, and you can get a large bundle of it. I've used these to make some dough bowl fillers back for Valentine's Day, actually, and they turned out super cute. We baked those. But that's what we're going to be. So stay tuned. I'll be posting a final staged photo, giving you some ideas on how to decorate with these, and how I'm going to use mine. I'll show you whenever I complete the whole set. But there you go. There's your project. And then when you see the photo, you can get some of your own ideas on how to decorate it, right? Yes, you could. That would be a cute idea too. All right, add a tag, add some Sweet Annie, add some greenery to it, add a bow, put them in a jar, put them in a can, put them in a bucket, lay them in a dough bowl. Tons of ways that you can use these. So, get creative today, and all we used was aluminum foil rolls. That's what we used. All right, I'll see you soon. We have another crafter coming up live right after me and all day long up until after 11 p.m. Central Time tonight. Over in the Craft on the Clock group. Check it out. Check us out tomorrow for all things candles in the Craft on the Clock group. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you again soon. Bye, guys.